All right, so in the world of cryptocurrency, most folks play it pretty safe. But what if I told you there's another path? A really high-stakes game for a select few. We're talking nerves of steel and seriously deep pockets. Today, we're diving into the story of solo mining, the ultimate crypto lottery.
So let's just imagine something for a second. Forget sharing the prize with anyone. What if you, and you alone, solved the next Bitcoin block? What would that even mean? Well, it means you get to keep it all. Everything.
100%. That's the number that just changes the entire game. We're talking the full undivided block reward, plus every single transaction fee from that block. No splits, no pool fees, nope. The whole jackpot goes straight to your wallet. So how on earth do you even get there?
Okay, so this whole concept, it's called solo mining, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You're going it alone. You're taking all of your computing power, all that hash rate, and you're pointing it right at the network by yourself. Our source material actually has a pretty cool name for these big professional operations, a mining house. Basically, a private setup that's gunning for that one huge payday.
And that right there, that really gets to the heart of this strategy. You just can't think of solo mining like a regular steady job. Not at all. It's a game of absolutely massive risk, but of course with an equally massive potential reward.
You know, the source material just nails it with this description. The experience is simply like a lottery. It's that simple. You're essentially buying a ticket, but your ticket is a mountain of hardware and a crazy amount of electricity, and then you just wait. You wait and you hope your number is the one that gets called.
So why a lottery? What makes it so random? Well, it's because the competition is just staggering. The global network's difficulty is so incredibly high that the odds of one person, one operation finding a block are just tiny. This means your payouts are completely unpredictable. And seriously, we are not talking about waiting days or weeks. We're talking months and, get this, maybe even years before you hit a block.
Okay, so to really get a grip on solo mining, you've got to look at the other side of the coin. You have to compare it to what almost everyone else does, which is join a mining pool. And this really sets up a fundamental choice that every single miner has to think about.
And it really just boils down to this simple trade-off, right? What are you after? Are you in it for that one massive, life-changing jackpot? If so, that's solo mining. Or do you prefer the comfort of a small but steady, reliable paycheck? Yeah, that's pool mining.
So let's break this down a bit more. With solo mining, the reward is all or nothing. It's huge, but it's super rare. In a pool, you're getting small, consistent payouts. That, of course, affects how often you get paid. A solo miner could wait years, literally. A pool miner, they're probably getting paid daily, maybe even hourly. Now here's a plus for solo mining. 0 pool fees. You're not sharing, so you're not paying a fee. But that leads to the risk, which is the big one. Solo mining is that very high variance lottery. Pool mining? That's more like a stable, low-risk business. And this is the kicker. Hardware. To run a mining house, you need an absolutely massive amount of hash rate to even have a prayer, whereas with pools, they're way more scalable for smaller miners.
Okay, so let's say you've got the stomach for this kind of risk. You decide, all right, I'm going to go for it. What does it actually take to build one of these so-called mining houses? Well, let me tell you, this is not some weekend DIY project. It is an absolute gauntlet of logistics, capital, and deep technical know-how. First up, phase 1 is all about just laying the groundwork. You start with a feasibility study just to see if you can even make money doing this. Then, you've got to find the perfect site, one with cheap, stable power, and then build out all the infrastructure. We're talking serious industrial-grade electrical work to handle that insane power demand. And then finally, you actually have to go out and buy fleets of the absolute best, most efficient ASIC miners you can get your hands on. And once all that's built, well, then phase 2 starts. And this phase, it never, ever ends. This is all about running a flawless operation. You're setting up specialized software, you're connecting directly to your own crypto nodes, so you're totally independent. You need 24/7 monitoring for everything, temperature, hash rate, because even a minute of downtime costs a fortune. And then if, and it's a big F, you hit that jackpot, you better have a super secure plan for managing and protecting all those rewards.
You know, there's a quote from the source that just sums this all up perfectly. Building and running a mining house is defined by 2 things: technical complexity and financial risk. That really says it all, doesn't it?
So all of this, it brings us to the big, critical question, right? When you understand the crazy odds and the absolutely monumental effort it takes, who is this actually for? I mean,
Who really dares to play this kind of game? And the answer is pretty straightforward. This is absolutely not for your average hobbyist miner. Not even close. Solo mining is a highly specialized strategy. It's really an institutional level play, designed for a very, very specific kind of large-scale operator or corporation.
So what does this kind of operator look like? Well, first, they need a ton of capital for all that top-tier ASIC hardware. Second, they have to be able to just burn cash on massive electricity bills for, again, months or even years with zero guarantee of income. And third, they usually have a very specific reason for wanting maximum privacy and total control over their mining and their rewards, without any outside pool involved.
So at the end of the day, we're left with this one question. Is solo mining the ultimate power play? A calculated risk for the biggest sharks in the water? Or is it really just a multi-million-dollar gamble, a lottery ticket on a massive scale? I guess the answer really depends on who's holding the ticket.